we live? We are live! Fantastic. Hi everybody, my name is Dave Carson from Free the Mind UK. I do have Sarah Williams with me tonight. We have had a few technical issues, but I'm getting used to technical issues nowadays, but it's no stress, no problem. The show goes on. And Sarah's just waiting there to come on, which I'm going to bring her on in a second. Let's bring Sarah on. Sarah.
Good evening.
Hey, that's fantastic. Now, Sarah, I've got to do my intro. I can hear you perfectly. You will be back, all right? Okay, so like I said to everybody, my name is Dave Carson. I am your host this evening for Free the Mind UK, a chat with a therapist. Oh my God, my eyes look weird. Anyway, I've got a fantastic guest tonight in the way of Sarah Williams. She's an interdimensional teacher and a time light weaver. She studied shamanism and Christed intergalactical work. My goodness. And tonight she's going to be sharing her knowledge of outer and inner space portals and dimensions, including Deja Vue and the Mandala effect. Before I bring Sarah on, we're going to play the intro video.
Not sure what therapy to choose? Free the Mind UK presents A Chat with a Therapist. Join us live for an up-close informal discussion of the various holistic therapies available, helping you make that important choice.
Sarah, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. We can hear you. Everyone that's watching, we had a few situations. Sarah was talking and I was only getting bits of the conversation, and we came up, well, Sarah came up with plan B, which was her phone. So she's on her phone at the moment, but we can hear you perfectly, so it's amazing.
I'm back on the laptop.
Oh, you're back on the laptop?
Yeah. Is it working?
Yeah, it seems to be working. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed and, you know,
Let's keep visualizing.
That's the universe to give us some extra energy to keep it going nice. Anyway, look, Sarah, it's an absolute joy to have you back on again. The second time, and it was a joy to speak to you last time. And tonight we're going to be talking about portals and doorways and Deja Vue and the Mandela effect. It's really exciting. It's not a subject that I've got into myself in a deep way. I know a little bit about some of this stuff, but I'm really excited to hear you tell us all about it, basically. And welcome to everyone who's watching at the moment. And if you've got any questions, I'll just get the questions up here, comments box, should I say. If anyone wants to say hi or wants to ask Sarah a question as we go along, feel free. So, Sarah, take it away. The floor is yours.
Well, I'm hoping you get questions, David, because we've got tonight. Is the sound okay? Hearing it working up.
You know, we'll see how we go. Maybe talk a bit slowly.
It's an internal thing. I haven't changed.
Right.
It's not working.
Can you hear yourself okay?
It
breaks up a little bit. Did you try your phone then? Did you try your phone?
I did try my phone, and it wasn't working.
Like so, the link wouldn't work.
No. It
really?
So I had to come back again, and it wasn't working. Let me try.
So everyone that's watching, don't worry, we will get through it all. Some way, somehow. Maybe not tonight, maybe another time. But we're gonna do our best to get Sarah so that we can hear her.
Can you hear me now, David?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Yes.
I can't hear you at all.
Well, why don't you put your phone on Facebook so that you can hear
Turn
me
on.
talk.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, put my Facebook channel on now. You should be able to hear what I'm
On your
saying from
Facebook
your
channel?
phone. Yeah, from your phone.
Let me have a look and see if I can see on my phone as
Well,
well.
look, has anyone
This is
watching got
crazy,
any
isn't it?
technical advice?
Interdimensional stuff.
Now look, we can hear her perfectly.
Let's find you.
Can you sign read, Sarah? She can't even hear me, everybody. Oh my goodness.
So apologies to everybody about this. And I'm coming back.
She'll be back.
Sorry, guys.
Don't worry, it's okay.
And see if I can.
We've got some viewers watching at the moment, and they've got lots of patience. I don't think
Wonder if
Sarah
I
can
can
hear
hear you like that. Calling you. Maybe that's probably not the right thing to do, is it?
No, what you do is you go on
So
Facebook, Sarah,
you
and go
try
onto my.
on your Facebook page.
That's it. You
And
got
see
it.
if
You
I
got it.
can see you.
And you'll be able to hear what I'm saying.
What a challenge.
Not a challenge. It is what it is. Hey. Oh, we've got 7 people watching, Sarah. Oh my goodness. Everybody that's watching, we're having a few technical difficulties, but we are going to get through there. It's going to be amazing. And I'm so excited to hear about interdimensional doors and portals, the Mandala effect and Deja Vue. Apparently only about 30% of the population experiences Deja Vu. Done a bit of research. I personally have experienced it quite a few times, and I've got a theory behind it, which I'll share with you.
Right,
When she can hear me, okay.
Oh, no, I can't see. I can't even see it on your Facebook page.
Really?
So, if I take this back out again, David, I'm going to try it again. I am sorry, guys, about this. I hope you can hear me.
Well, yeah, we can hear you.
You can hear me perfectly.
Yeah.
So I'll keep the headphones in, but I won't be able to hear you speak, which is completely crazy, isn't it? So
Well,
it's just like
the viewers can hear me speak.
I can see your lips moving.
I'll tell you what. I'll what about if I tap you a question?
Anyway,
Sarah.
shall I?
Okay. I'm going to call you Sarah. This has never happened before, everybody. 5 people watching. We're loving it. So look, here we go. I'm going to call you very quickly.
Okay. Oh, look.
Hey.
Hello,
Sarah. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, put that on speakerphone, and I can talk to you. Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I'm clever boy.
There we go.
Look at that.
Is that working?
Seems to be. Hang on, that's a lot of feedback. Oh, blimey. Move your
That's
phone
horrible,
away
isn't it?
Turn your volume down a bit.
Pardon?
Turn your volume down a bit.
Volume down.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can just about hear you.
Okay, well I'll shout. How about that? So, Sarah, sorry everybody else for blowing your ears off, but Sarah, it's a joy to have you on. So, the floor is yours. Tell us what you're going to start with talking about first. Are we going to be talking about portals and doors and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, we can start with portals.
Okay, fire away.
Okay. Well, we get around it somehow, David, won't we? But this is the way. Absolute craziness, but there you go. Well done for getting techie stuff. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm really thank you everyone for being so patient with us, and thank you for coming on tonight. I am very excited actually because we're looking at portals, dimensions, and frequencies, particularly this evening, aren't we? And that would be, we can talk about the Mandala effect, as you said, and Deja Vue. I've made a few notes so that we can go through that. And I was really hoping that you would ask me some questions, David.
I will ask you some questions. Don't worry about that.
Excellent. So if I started with portals, would that work?
Absolutely. We've got Suzanne, Ariel, Aluna on here. Much love to you both. I'm a friend of Sarah in the US and a global goddess meditation group. We have just had our meditation time together prior to this. Wow. That sounds really good. And she also goes on to say, we understand these technical issues. I'm sure you'll resolve it, which I think we have. And what's this now? Gotta love technology.
We so do.
So we've got a few people watching, Sarah. So
Hello, Suzanne. Hello, Joe.
So sorry, carry on.
Okay. So, well, what is a portal? A portal is a doorway, isn't it? Really? And there is. Did you say?
No.
A portal is a doorway. And we have doorways everywhere. You know, we've got doorways in our homes, we've got doorways on the planet in the way of sacred sites, perhaps, or sacred springs, or stone circles, or those sorts of things. We've also got, I've got some examples of how you would traverse portals in this dimension, moving into other frequencies and dimensions. So the whole lot is very interwoven, really, David, in my understanding. So, and this is just my understanding. I hasten to add that actually, you know, this is my perception, and you know, other people's perception may be very different from mine. So, you know, I'm not saying that I'm right, but I am saying that this is a concept for people to get their heads around a little bit, because it's a really important moment for us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
There's David nodding away. All I can see is you nodding, David. I'm so sorry. Okay. I can just about hear you, mate. So, the doorways on here, sacred sites. Or we could look at things like Stonehenge, or Avebury, or Dragon Hill, or Wayland Smithy. And, you know, you could. Other places around Göbekli Tepe, pyramids. You know, I've spent a lot of time in Mexico and in also Bali and other places around the world. But, you know, there could be a sacred site just in your garden. Sorry, you know, a spring in your garden, which could be a portal. There are portals in nature, fairy realm portals, but there are also portals in the body, and I'd like to talk a little bit more about those. We've got the portal in the thymus, we've got the portal in the heart, we've got a portal in the middle of our brains with the third eye, and those are just 3 portals in the body. You know, you could look at the chakras being portals, particularly the solar plexus. That's a really big portal. You might look at the cells within the body as being portals, interdimensional portals as well. It's a huge subject, and you know, without your guidance, you know, I will attempt to talk about it more. Now, I'm just looking at you speaking.
Well, I was going to say to you, Sarah, I don't want to you can hear me now, yeah?
Just.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you, how do we connect with these portals, and what's the process of that, and what is the endeavour of that?
Connecting with the portal. I suppose with everything, a portal is a doorway leading somewhere else. And if you want to move between one dimension, or one frequency, or one galaxy, or one planet to another, then we can do that through a doorway. That could be a doorway in time. If you think about Alice in Wonderland, you know, with the white rabbit diving down a rabbit hole, and Alice follows, And once she gets to the bottom of the rabbit hole, she finds a cake. Well, she finds a table with a cake on it that says "Eat Me" and a drink on it that says "Drink Me." And one shrinks her, and one makes her get bigger. Do you remember that story? Now, that's really relevant because you can go through a dimension to where the crazy queen is, or where the hair is, and they will be both different experiences. So, if you were to look at a book, for instance, any book that you've got, if we were to go from I'm just looking for a book.
Okay.
The spine of a book. Let's just use my diary for a moment. If you were to go from the spine of a book here, let me see this. Even that's blurry, isn't it? If we were to go from the spine of the book here at the bottom, and that's our place at the moment, and then we want to get up to the top here. It's all very blurry. Then let me see if I can do something with that.
That's it. That's perfect.
Around about there. No. We're having a great time tonight, aren't we?
It's because you've got a backdrop on and it's a blurred backdrop. That's why the book's blurred.
Okay, well anyway, if we're here at the bottom of if we're at the bottom of the book here, the spine, and we want to get to the top, we can go down through any page in that, and it's going to be a different story on each page. So we will be experiencing a different journey, and there are an infinite amount of journeys that we can take to get from the spine of the book to the top of the book, so that we can actually get to from where we're at to where we're going. So let's call this the source light, up here, and this is our location here. If we want to get from where we are to the source, we can go down any number, an infinite number, in fact, of places, of areas to get to, or pages to get to, with different stories on each of those that are going to take us to the light. Yeah. And now I've got a dog digging behind me as well. This is just an absolutely crazy moment.
Is this similar to parallel universes? No.
Say that again.
It's not associated with like parallel universes, like the different pages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there are parallel universes. In fact, that is the most important part of the whole thing. The fact that there is no future, there is no past, there is only the now. And there are parallel universes where we have a parallel version of ourselves operating at the same moment, quantum moment. So this is going into the quantum fields more and more.
Can I just say, Sarah, but I had a dream the other day, right? Because my dreams are quite funky. And in this dream, I had a phone like I've got in this life. And I was looking down the people on my phone, and I got this real strong emotional connection with these people. And I was like, this must be called Jim or whatever. And then when I woke up in the morning, I was like, bugger, what happened to Jim? I felt this emotion for these people. I knew them people. Do you see what I mean? So I've been connecting with. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this would be on the causal, through the causal layer, which is a bit like the World Wide Web of Things, but it's the worldwide spiritual connection web, which is also known as Indra's Web. So it's a bit like your dog would know when you were coming home and wait for you, or your cat may wait for you on the corner of the street. It would know that you were coming back through an extra sense that we have almost forgotten how to use. And, as we raise our vibrations and we lift our frequency more and more, then we are more able to access the causal chakra, or the internet of the spiritual realm, just knowing things. I mean, you just know something is happening, and that you need to leave. Using the parking fairies, you know that you need to leave the house now. And if you follow your intuition via the portal in the center of your brain, the third eye,
Mhm.
and you trust your gut to follow your intuition, then you will cross paths with the right people along the way, and you'll miss all the traffic, and you'll get that parking space under the tree where you wanted it to be.
I always get my parking space, Sarah.
Parking fairies every time,
every,
every time.
every
And if you
time.
trust the process, it works, doesn't it, David?
It does, absolutely does.
Yeah.
Sarah's voice has a very strong echo and it's difficult to understand. Oh, bugger. It could be because
Okay.
we're on the phone. I could always
It
send
is
her a
the sound
message
thing.
to talk to you.
Okay, is that any better, Joe? Is that less of an echo? I'm not sure if it is or not.
You can let us know, Joe, that would be amazing. Or
Sorry?
anyone who's watching right now, can they let us know whether Sarah's still got an echo?
Can you, if I keep talking, does it sound like I've still got an echo, Joe? We are having a few techie issues here, guys. I am sorry about that.
No, there is still an echo.
There is still an echo.
Turn your phone off, Sarah, and just
Turn
see
my
if
phone
that
off?
makes a difference. Yeah, see if it makes a difference. I know you won't be able to hear me, but
I won't be able to hear you.
I know.
Is that
And
without an
Joe, is
echo
that
now?
better? Is that better now, Joe? You
Is
turned
that
it off.
without an echo if I keep speaking? Let's see what Joe says. Thank you.
Joe. And D. Doug.
Can you still hear me?
Douglas.
If you can,
Come on,
that's
let us
great.
know, please, quick as possible.
I'm having to lip read David now.
7:52.
Is it still easy to understand or difficult to understand?
Still
If you
an
give me a
echo.
5 for 5 if it's all right, and
I think we've still got an echo.
if it's not, then we can do something different. I can go out of the studio and come back in, perhaps.
You
Is
can
it
do that if
working?
you want, Sarah.
We don't know. David looks like he's squirreling away, trying to do something down there for us. Hopefully the echo has gone now, has it? I'm not sure.
Did you get that message,
We're obviously
Sarah?
travelling between portals and dimensions at the moment. Is that what's going on, perhaps?
Hang on, Sarah. Sarah.
Try my phone again.
Yeah. Try your phone.
Okay,
I'll talk to the viewers. So everybody, I'm really sorry about this tonight, but these things happen, and they're sent to try us. But we will succeed. No, you're calling me.
I'm trying David's phone again now.
No.
To see if that works.
Okay, yeah.
Is that working?
I'm going to ask you to get it on your phone, Sarah.
Okay.
We're going to do this. Okay, Sarah.
I can just about hear you, David.
Can you hear me now?
I can just about hear you.
Okay. Why don't you leave the stream for a minute and try and get that stream on your phone?
So that I can hear you. Look, if I use that, I can hear you.
Yeah, no.
That's really good.
It is
Can
good.
you
I
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. But if we do it like this, I think we still got it. It got better from the beginning, but there's still an echo, Andrea.
Is there? Do you want me to plug in and plug out again?
Well, I'm thinking, you know when you tried to get it on your phone, right? What
Yep.
happened when you clicked the link? Did it just, nothing happened?
No, but I will try it again.
Because I think that might be the way forward.
Okay.
You should be able to connect using the link on your phone.
Okay, let me give that a go.
If not, come back and I'll keep everyone
Busy.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
Don't worry. It's all good. Okay, so Sarah's left the stream for a minute, everybody. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm sure we will get there. I'm Just gonna make sure that Sarah's gone now. She's gonna try and get it on her phone. If she can get it on her phone, then we've got okay. Dave's voice is okay and clear. Thanks, Joe. It's really good to know. I've just got myself a new Rode microphone. So if anyone on here is watching, does Zooms and stuff like that, it's a great little microphone, you know, to do your stuff. Don't normally have many problems, but it does happen. It does happen. So, well, while Sarah's not here, I'm going to tell you about my theory on deja vu. Well, it's not my theory actually; it's somebody else's, but I like it. So the theory is that when I was in a previous life, right, I was born as Dave Carson, and I lived the exact same life all over again many times. And each time I live each life, I have the opportunity to possibly make it worse or make it better. And because of that, because I've already lived this life and a part of me knows already what's happened, when I have those moments of deja vu, I'm just connecting with another life of Dave Carson that's lived the same life. Anyway, so, you know, it's a possibility. I don't know what you guys think of that, but anyway, there you go. Come on, Sarah, where are you? We can make it out. Still very bad echo. Has anyone got any questions for Sarah for when she comes back? Maybe the specific things that you'd like to ask. That's all. Be amazing. I love doing these shows, you know. It's a great experience, especially when it appears to go wrong. It's I don't get stressed about things. I'm a firm believer in what's the point, you know, because like it's all good feedback, isn't it? Whatever happens in our lives. But I'm really hey, thanks, Joe. Yeah, I came across it. Oh, but it's not something I thought up of, but I came across it and I thought, you know what, that does make sense. That does. It's a possibility, isn't it? But also, you know, I don't believe in karma. I don't believe this. I actually don't believe there's no such thing as good or bad. Strangely enough, I think everything is a beautiful dance, and because of that, there can't be any karma. And the idea that we've got this creator that's all forgiving, how can you have any karma? I've digressed a bit there, haven't I? So I don't know why I was talking about that. Come on, Sarah, where are you, babe? We want you back. She's probably watching me now, like trying to keep the ship afloat. Absolutely. So there you go. Has anyone got any questions? You can ask me a question if you want. I don't mind. I'm what is it? I'm forget what you call it. Bit of brain fog there. Do you know what? Today I was talking about brain fog, and I was saying that I play classical guitar. I've only been playing for a few years, but I've noticed my memory is really good because I can remember whole pieces of music and memorize the actual song. So I started to believe, oh my God, my memory is really great. And when I started to do that, all the brain fog just seemed to disappear. I'm being like a hypnotist, I guess. I'm of the belief that if you have a belief about something, then that's what you're going to get. So there you go. I'm just rabbiting on now, aren't I? I am a Gemini though, so we can talk for England. So it's just got to make sure everything that comes out of my mouth isn't rubbish. Oh my goodness. What's happened to Sarah? I wish I knew a lot more about interdimensional doors and stuff like that, or I'd be talking about that. The Mandela effect's quite interesting. I know that Sarah's going to talk about that. I think it's to do with the idea that there's a belief of a mass of people about something that actually happened, but it actually happened differently. I was doing a bit of research on it today, and it came up with something from Star Wars where Darth Vader said to Luke, I'm your father, but he actually said, I am your father. But millions of people believed he said Luke. So I was just thinking, you know, crazy thoughts that maybe there is someone messing about with the interdimensional doors and time, and you get glitches, you know, and all of a sudden things change. But people are aware that it was different before. I don't know if that is the Mandela effect, but there you go. Well, we've still got viewers watching, so I can't be doing that bad. Sarah's back. Here we go. Hello, Sarah. We are back. I think we're just going to.
Hello, David. I don't know if that's any better or not, is it? I can't work it on my Facebook.
Are you on your phone now? You on your laptop or your phone? No, that's no better. You're muted. You've muted yourself. You have to unmute. That's it. You're unmuted now. I think Dave's saying much better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me? It may be breaking. I don't know.
And she's gone. We can hear you, Sarah. Don't worry. I think it's much better.
We can try and get it. With different issues, better ones. How are we breaking up?
Well, can I ask people watching right now? Can you hear Sarah okay, or is she breaking up? Because she's breaking up to me.
We can make it out. There's still an echo.
There's still an echo.
Still an echo.
Breaking up. Oh, but...
Okay. So, is it?
It's going to be really difficult. We've tried everything, everybody, and I think Sarah will invest in a new mic. I don't know.
Tell you what, I'll try another set of it.
Yeah, try that.
See if
Okay,
that.
we're still coming up. Many agree with you. Karma is a program. Hey, Suzanne, I forgot I was talking about that. Yeah, how can karma be a thing if there's no such thing as good and bad? I mean, that's my truth. Because to me, it's all in here, isn't it? So, like, if you line 1,000 people up and something's happening, everyone's going to have an individual view of that thing happening. So, in some respects, that's illusionary in itself, isn't it? Because what they're seeing is not the same as what I'm seeing in its entirety. And they say our eyes interpret the information we're looking at through the brain differently to what's actually happening in reality. So it's all a bit of an illusion, I think. There you go. Yeah, I'm an illusionist. I don't exist, but I love it here. Oh my God. Suzanne, fellow Gemini, well done. Loving it. Yeah. You talk a lot as well, Suzanne. I'm sure you do. We're great fun to be around as well, aren't we? Can you still hear me, Sarah?
I can hear you.
Just filling in the time with.
Yeah, I'm plugged in. No, this isn't it. This is the wrong set. No, it's not working here. I'm going to have to invest in contact.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I was just saying, I got one of these, Sarah. It's called can you see it? Can't see it, can you? I'll show you. It's called a Rode wireless. So it's wireless. I just put that on my little thing and clip it on there, and I can talk from here. And it always comes through really good. They're about 100 quid, I think, but it's good quality microphone.
I just made a note, and then perhaps we can do this again.
I think it's probably a good idea, because I know that we've got quite a few people tuned in, and I know that they would love to hear you talk about this. So we're going to reschedule this, everybody, and we'll be back. But next time we're going to be flying like jet planes. And
there must be a reason for this.
Yes, probably. It probably is. Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is.
But if you can't, then it's useless, isn't it?
It is.
I'll let you carry on with your show.
Well, Well, look, Sarah, look, so sorry this has happened for you.
Okay,
We
I'm
will.
sorry. I'm really sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I
Don't be
apologize
sorry.
to everyone, guys.
It's all good. Everyone understands. You know, we know it. These things happen, and it is what it is. And yeah, it's all good.
We'll come back strong.
We'll come back stronger, definitely. And
Absolutely.
I'm going to I'm going to do more research about your topics so that I'm really
Okay.
wised up on it.
That sounds brilliant.
Yeah, I am.
So,
I've done some research on it, but yeah, I will do
well, I've
more.
got notes here. Examples of being in different dimensions.
Actually, Sarah, someone's just said, yeah, Suzanne's just said, just let Sarah talk. So put your headphones back in if you're happy to do that, and just talk about whatever you want to talk about. And
Oh,
if I want to ask you a question, I'll put it inside the box here, yeah. So you'll see it on the screen. How about that?
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's try.
okay. So well done, Suzanne. Good idea. So we're back on. Thank you for your patience, everybody.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Is that better? Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. So, my gosh,
Look, I'm going to give you the whole stage, Sarah, if I can.
absolute craziness, guys.
Hey.
I'm so sorry about this. Well, there's a will, there's a way, as we say. And obviously, because of the dimensional situation and the fact that we are working with portals, dimensions, and frequencies, it's really causing quite an issue with this transmission this evening, which is actually quite interesting, isn't it? In so many ways. So now I can't even see David, but I can look at the box and see whether or not he's actually speaking to me.
I am here. No,
So I don't have. There you are. I can see you now, David. Thank you. Okay. So the difference then, and thank you very much for everyone for being so patient. Joe, Suzanne, I'm so grateful that you are being so patient with us here. So a portal is a doorway, and that would be through to a different dimension, perhaps. And a frequency is something again entirely different. So an example of a portal could be a sacred site, and the very first time that I became aware of portals was when I was on a trip about 20 years ago to Glaston, to Avebury, actually, a sacred site in the UK, with three friends of mine who were very spiritual. So we were sitting, we got up very early because we wanted to be there at sunrise. And on the way there, we stopped at a place called in Marlborough, which had a little cafe just for a cup of tea and a bit of breakfast or something. So as we were sitting at this Greasy Joe's cafe, which is a very regular cafe, but I had never been to Marlborough before. I was sitting there talking, and you can see the way that the screen behind me here is blurred out. Well, you know, when you're sitting talking to somebody and you're looking them in the eye, and everything else becomes a blur, a little bit like this. Well, I was sitting opposite my friend, and we were having a conversation, and everything behind was a blur. And I looked over at the queue, and in the queue, I saw a chap that I felt that I knew, but I'd never been there before. And then I felt an ultimate, overwhelming feeling of love for this man, but not a sort of a, it was an unconditional love. It wasn't like I didn't think he was a hot guy or anything. It was literally the fact that I felt love for him. And then I looked at the person in front of him in the queue, and I also felt the same thing about that person. And I looked at the entire queue, looked at the entire cafe, and felt love. just absolute pure love, unconditional love. So with that, I just looked at my friend Karen and was in complete shock and said, do you know that chap over there? And she said, well, no, but I do feel like there's a familiarity with that. And I feel that I love, there is love. And she and I just looked around the whole place and realised that we knew everyone in the cafe and we loved everybody. And then we became aware of our two friends sitting next to us, and they had both stopped talking to one another, and their jaws had dropped. And they just looked at us and said, where did you two just go? And when we said, they said, you fizzed. And we said, well, we were just looking around and we realised that we knew everyone in here, and we looked again, we didn't know anyone. And I certainly didn't love anyone. It was incredible. And they said that we felt a little bit like on Star Trek. You know, in Star Trek, when they sort of go from one planet to another, and they go down that transporter thing, and all the molecules in the bodies break up, don't they? And they fizz. And this is what our two friends said had happened to us. And we were sitting next to them in the cafe. And that was the very first time that I actually realised that when you step through a portal into a different frequency, then you will experience something very, very different, a different reality. So it's a little bit like the Mandala effect in that sense. Does that make sense? Someone's saying, let's do it this Sunday. Is that you? David?
No.
It's not you saying that. Somebody's saying that's incredible, Sarah. Okay. Yeah, it was incredible. It was you saying let's do it on Sunday.
When you see Free the Mind, it's me. Yeah. Wow. It's crazy.
You're saying it's incredible. Okay. If you want me to stop, then please do say.
Wow, carry on.
Okay. So that was one. There are another couple of examples that I can share with you. One being where mostly in my home now, because we pray every day, we have sacred space open here every day. So we shift into a different vibration. And with that vibration, it sort of lifts. And if you think about your television, and then your television has access as a receiver to the Gaia channel, the BBC channels, other channels, and there are different stories going on down each of those channels. Now, you've got the same receiver, but it's which frequency that you tune into depending on what experience you're going to have through the medium of your television set. Yeah? So you may be tuned into a different frequency in order to experience have a different experience in your reality. Now, mostly our house is in 5D. We mostly, which is probably why we're having a challenge with this interaction, if I'm honest. So mostly we're in 5D. But the other day we got a little bit, things got more full. There was a bit of stress, and I think the frequency dropped just a little bit. And I had some castor oil in the fridge that I had mixed up with some calendula flowers, and I used that. And I said to my husband, I'm just going to go and get the oil from the fridge. And I had a look and I couldn't see it. So I said, have you moved it? And he said, no. And I said, well, we emptied the fridge, so there's nothing there. We couldn't find the oil. So I went to my store cupboard and got another pot of oil. And I wrote on it in green writing. Now, with that, we then came and opened up sacred space, ready for the prayers that we say every night at 7 o'clock. And then I went back to the fridge, and there were two jars in the fridge, one with green writing on, and the other one was the original one I'd been looking for. So you probably, a lot of you had the experience of putting your keys down somewhere and then not being able to find them again. And then they'll turn up later exactly where you thought they were going to be, but they weren't there before when you went there. And then you question your own sanity, don't you? Because you start thinking, am I going crazy? You know, is it just me? But luckily, I've had this experience now with my husband as well. So he and I, first of all, thought we were winding each other up, but then we realised that actually, in reality, things appear in different dimensions depending on where you are vibrating at. So if you've changed your channel from Gaia to BBC, you're going to get a different program. Okay, so that's one experience of dimensions and vibrating at different frequencies. So the frequency is one thing. Hopefully I've explained that one enough. Good. Portals are the doorways between either rooms or frequencies and dimensions as well. And you might look at the great central sun or a black hole being a portal. You may also look at, as I've mentioned earlier, maybe a Stargate. Think of Stargate Atlantis. You know, when you on TV where you step into a portal which is dialed into with the frequency. Do you know that show Stargate, David?
Yeah,
You do, and so with that, I'm sorry I can't hear you. But then all the stargates move around, don't they? And they lock in. And as they lock in, it's like a space-time, like Star Trekky experience of, galactic star date, 511, and you move into a different frequency and a different dimension, and there are normally 5 coordinates, and they all hook you into the right place in the right moment in the right galaxy at the right time, and then you move into that frequency. Now, I've also experienced this, physically. So I'd love to share more on that another time, perhaps when we've got more clarity with this, and perhaps through a different forum. Maybe StreamYard is not working for me, but if you do that, let me think. You can go from one place, like in Stargate Atlantis, to another without a blink of an eye. I mean, you just literally step through a galactic Stargate. So a Stargate, like, I don't know, Avebury Circles, or Stonehenge, or Uluru, or Machu Picchu, or a sacred site somewhere. That could be a Stargate where you could pass through somewhere and come out the other side. And I have an example of that too. My husband and I were going to the cinema one night, and we booked the parking space, like David said. But actually, it was good that we'd done that because the car park was absolutely chock-a-block. So we were thinking, oh gosh, this car park's busy, and the restaurants at least too. This was a couple of years ago now, and we were going to go and watch a film called Aquaman. So we found a parking space, and we thought that we would go for a meal first. All the restaurants we thought would be packed out, and but they weren't. There was nobody in any of the restaurants. Then we went into the restaurant. We had the best service, the best food. The silly piano player who usually plays in there wasn't playing, so I could hear myself think with the sound. And we had the most lovely meal. And then we walked along a very empty sort of it's a port, so it was a very beautiful, elegant port. And we walked down to there were no people. There were no people in any of the restaurants. We had no idea why the car park was so full. And then we continued on to the cinema, and we managed to get the perfect seat with extra legroom for my very tall husband. We managed to watch the whole of Aquaman movie, which I highly recommend as being a documentary. Okay, and then we left the cinema. We got to our car, and then we drove home, and everything was very, very easy. I've lost you. I can't see you now, Dave. So there we go. So with that, I went back the following week to the same restaurant, and we had no idea. Well, the place was full, the food was awful, and the service was crap, and I had a terrible time, and I would never go back. But the week before, I'd been there with my husband, and it had been just a blissful experience. But where were all the people who owned the cars? Where they weren't in the restaurants and they weren't in the cinema? We don't know. Maybe it was a different frequency. I don't know. So, this again is happening more and more. And the more you vibrate at a frequency, then you're going to attract that frequency to you as you project it. And if you're in a frequency, then you can see certain things. So in the Mandala effect that we were talking about, it was named after Nelson Mandela, wasn't it? I believe. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
But some people, you think so. Some people remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison, and other people remember his release.
Yes, exactly.
Now that is the Mandela effect, because in one frequency he passed away, he passed over in jail. In another frequency he continued on, became free, and then there was a big party. So that's quite an interesting effect too, isn't it? So being a frequency, and again dimensional, so they do all kind of correlate. The Earth has sacred sites. So if you go to a sacred site and you tune into a certain frequency, you can pass through a portal like Alice in Wonderland. But also we've got Alice through the Looking Glass. And we know now that looking glass technology is actually being employed on this planet, isn't it? As a time portal device that people do talk about. So it's very interesting that Lewis Carroll was writing about this many, many, many moons ago. Can everyone hear me okay? Oh yes. Someone said, I watch Bashar a lot and talks about being in different parallel frequencies. Absolutely. Yeah, that's you.
Saying it, but anyway.
Yes, I love Bashar. He's absolutely spot on. He really is speaking the same in the same vein as the way that I feel works. So back in 1930s, back in 1939, the Rockefellers changed the frequency, the universal frequency, from. I'm just going to check on checking with my notes on my phone.
I think
yeah.
Andrea, there's a delay between
And it's a YouTube for Sarah's link. Oh gosh, I'm just looking at my my notes, and I had it all up here ready. Yeah. So I'll read from my phone here. just coming back to this, the frequencies connect are things like now I've got a dog barking. Just you can't make this stuff up, can you? Absolute madness, madness. You think my husband would sort this out, but clearly he can't hear that different frequency. Anyway, in 1939, the Rockefeller Foundation instituted the world standard tuning to 440 hertz. And it used to be 431 hertz. So all frequencies on the planet used to be at the 432, and then they changed it to being the 440. And that's almost a demonic frequency, because we went from everybody swooning at Frank Sinatra, oh isn't he lovely, when the music of the planet was attuned to 432. And then then they changed it in 1939, the Rockefellers, and then you've got Elvis Presley, and everyone got a bit crazy, and started throwing barriers and becoming really boisterous at different concerts, with him swinging his hips around and all of these things. But they weren't all swooning the way they were with the 432 hertz. They're becoming quite let's say, well, more aggressive, perhaps, in a certain way. And it does seem that since then, things have changed a lot. And what we need to do is to return to the 432 hertz, the sound frequency that we used to attune to with the solfeggios. I've lost you, David. I can't even see you, mate. I think your camera's gone off. So I can't even see you speaking. So what I'm trying to get at here, I think, is where you vibrate, you can manifest, and you can have that experience. And if you're not vibrating on that frequency or that harmonic, then it becomes invisible to you. I can see you again now, Dave. Which is brilliant. Does that make any sense at all to anybody? Because what I'm trying to do here is to establish the difference between frequencies, dimensions, and portals. So is that any clearer? Because it also comes up with there's some recent research done by Dr. John Stuart Reid that looks at revitalizing blood cells, and he uses different frequencies to do that. And if he uses the 440 hertz, then then the blood cells die. But if he uses the 432 hertz, they're revitalized and they hold more oxygen. So again, if you're listening to music that you don't like, or you hear a sound that you don't like, it's changing your perception, and it doesn't sit with your frequency. The frequency that you're vibrating on is not a match for the vibration that is coming in, so it becomes uncomfortable. So listening to certain sounds could be very upsetting, like Japanese water torture for some people, but to other people it could be very soothing. But generally speaking, where your vibration sits, because apparently we've all got our own note, our own vibrational note, and for me, that comes about as we manifest into our physical vehicle, because we are not human, we are souls inhabiting meat suits, right? Bodies for a human experience. So as you come in with a certain cosmological, astrological concept, there are certain planets vibrating at certain frequencies, and they form a harmonic. So visualize each planet vibrating at a certain frequency which maybe emits a chord or a sound. So, as all of those sounds are attuned, maybe Venus has a certain resonance, maybe the Earth is the 432 hertz, maybe the Sun has a different frequency. But as you come in, and perhaps if you have, those of you that have maybe had your astrological star chart done, the astrologer, to find out what your star chart is, would need to know 2 or 3 different pieces of information: the time you were born, and the location that you were born, and the date that you were born. And when they have those 3, they can establish with the crossover, like a stargate, what frequencies where you are attuned to as a unique being, or an expression of energy in a physical body, which is, again, each organ is vibrating at a certain frequency. Each chakra vibrates at a different frequency. So we know that the 432 vibrates with the heart energy. If your signature, your soul signature, when you are born, vibrates at a similar frequency to another, a harmonious frequency, then you could be meeting up with your soul group, or part of your monad, or someone that someone that you really get on well with. That could be because you form a harmonic, a beauty together. Okay, you're saying that you're still here, David, but you said that there's an echo sometimes if you're there, so you've cut the camera. Okay, if the harmonic harmonizes with another, then that could mean that you get on very, very well with that person. But if your harmonic doesn't flow with somebody else's harmonic, you could irritate the living daylights out of each other, because you just wouldn't get on. So some people you get on with and some people you don't. Some situations or sounds you love, but they may be heavy for other people. So when I've trained shamanically, they don't talk about good and evil, they talk about dark and light, or light and heavy. So some things might be heavy for me, but they might not be heavy for you. Other things might be light for me, but not light for you. That's not a judgment on the thing. It's more of a frequency match, really, isn't it? More than anything else. So if your frequency aligns to another frequency, then you form a beautiful tone, a bit like you would form, as David was saying to me just before we came online. He was saying that he was playing the guitar. If you have a certain chord that it is strummed, it might go well with another chord and another instrument, and you can form an orchestra of harmonics, which can sound, if it's attuned, it sounds beautiful. But if all the harmonics are ringing out of key with one another, then you don't have a beautiful sound. You don't have a beautiful song. You have a flurry of instruments that are very disharmonious. So where you vibrate, you will get on with a certain other vibration. I'm hoping that this is making sense, because if you extrapolate that out all in, you realize that if you go out into the harmonics of the universe, if each planet has a frequency that it's attuned to, then a solar system will have a chord or harmonic as it plays. And if each solar system has a different harmonic, that could form an orchestra. And if each galaxy were the same, or each universe were the same, there would be a different, like the is the resonance for the universe. And so AUM or OM. David, you're back on screen.
Yeah, I just, Sarah can't hear me, but I wanted to ask everyone, when I come back on, does Sarah start echoing again? Can you let me know, Jules, if she's echoing when I come back on the stream? Because if she does, then it's a problem with me. Carry on.
Tell me when to go, because I can't hear you. Keep talking. Okay, gotcha. This is one of the things that we're going to perhaps experience as we move forward. With different harmonics, different frequencies, needing to totally relate to one another in order to actually function in a beautiful harmonic way, in a beautiful harmony, like we had the Grand Harmonic Convergence back in 1987 or 89. Can't quite remember which that one was now. So, with all of these frequencies and vibrations, is that sort of making sense to you guys? That if you meditate and go through your pineal, now hang on, let me bring this back to the frequencies of the body and the portals within the body, that could be perhaps there are two sides to your brain, and the bridge is in the middle. And the middle is the pineal, pituitary, the pons area, and if the brain has got two functions, and the connector is in the middle, each chakra has a frequency. The third eye, the Ajna chakra, has a frequency, and if each chakra has a frequency, and you play all of it together, then that's my chord. Now, if you tune into your third eye here, you can access through a silver cord your higher self, and then also you can go back to source. And then you can download frequencies of light that would come down to the pineal, which would affect the brain, the central nervous system, which would affect the spinal cord, which would affect the peripheral nervous system, which would mean that actually your body is having a very physical experience via the plexuses of the nerves as they come together. And as the nerves come together with synapses, they don't actually touch these nerves. They all come along. And if you look at my fingers, you can see that as they come along together, then two would meet, and there would be a little jump of electrical power. And because we're an electrical being, basically, in a meat suit, and as those two, that little electrical impulse jumps across the synapse via telomeres, then there is a connection or an exchange of information, and that exchanges information all around the body. Now, a plexus is where all the nerves come together, a little bit like Spaghetti Junction or Waterloo Station. So it's a plexus of information. And if all of those plexuses of information, if each one were maybe a portal, it could take you into a different frequency. But if you were to play each one of those, you would have your own harmonic. And if you were to take that into a cellular structure, which is affected by the nervous system of the body, which connects with the vagus nerve, which connects to all of the organs of the body, and we know that each organ of the body holds a different emotion. And the emotions connected with the heavy emotions and the light emotions. So the emotion of the heart is unconditional love. But the heavy emotion of the heart, by contrast, could be judgment or lack of judgmental love, lack of unconditional love. It could be holding a grudge. It may be holding a grudge against somebody else or yourself. You may not have, unconditional love for you in that sense. You've seen sparks between your fingers and someone else's. Absolutely. The electrical charge, it's like when you touch a car, isn't it, David? Sometimes you get a static, kind of reaction. But other times, you wouldn't get that, depending on the frequencies. So coming back to this idea of your body upgrading, because this is the only time that we have ever brought our bodies through the shift from 3D, which is a fear-based matrix, through the fourth dimensional concept of fear, karma, and time, into 5D and beyond. Now, 5D is a place where no fear exists. So you have to get rid of all your fears in 4D, which is where we're sort of vibrating at the moment. So fear, karma, and time have to come up in the 4D in order to step into the unconditionalness of 5D. So you're talking about different frequencies again, and you're talking about how the matrix of the body is, because it's the first time that we've ever brought our physical bodies through the shift. This is why my creams came into being. I brought these creams into being because they enable, through the power of nature, the body to transmute from a carbon-based vehicle into a crystalline-based vehicle using nature. So the nature being the harmonic of the plants that I use in essential oils. You wrap it all up in a vegan cream made with love, wrapped up when you're using sacred sounds like the 432 hertz, the company of angels, etc., in a higher frequency, so that when that cream goes onto your skin, it's of a high frequency and it helps your cells to upgrade to bring this physical vehicle, Homo sapien, into being Homo luminous, the other side of the shift. But in order to do that, we have to release the density of the heaviness of anger in the liver, fear in the kidneys, holding grudges in the heart, grief in the lungs. There are different areas that hold different frequencies, different emotions. And when everything flows in a toroidal field, everything heals, the body heals itself. So what the chakras do and the plexuses do is maintain a flow of kundalini type energy, which is connecting to the soma chakra. And the soma chakra sits here on the crown of on the hairline, which is the combining of masculine and feminine, the kundalini energy, which crosses at each chakra, coming up through the body and at the pineal. It starts to drive, it drives the left-hand brain, which drives the right-hand side of the body, the feminine side. The right-hand brain drives the right-hand side of the body, which is the masculine side. Then it goes out through the crown of the head, through the top of the bubble, around in a big toroidal field, which is like a big donut-shaped field, which all living things have. And when the flow is perfect, then the body heals itself. So what we need to do is to bring that vibrational toroidal field through the dimensions into the fifth dimension, releasing the heavy emotions of the liver that are stored in the liver, anger. And we're seeing a lot of anger being brought up at the moment because people are so frightened. And if you do the Ho'oponopono, have you heard of the Ho'oponopono, David?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, right? Then you can forgive the prayer is for yourself, isn't it? So you forgive yourself and love yourself. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And you can release everything back to releasing your fear in your kidneys. And by the way, yawning is also a great kidney balancer. So if you yawn, then it can help you to balance your kidney energy, which is release of fear. Quite interesting. Just a thought. Are there any questions? To me, this life is an illusionary. Absolutely, yes, it is. And I completely resonate with you there on that one, David, because this is all total illusion. And it's where we focus our intention, isn't it, as to what our experience is.
Hang on. And this one.
You've experienced Kundalini.
Well, I think so. It's with
Absolutely.
I experienced it with touch energy. You can't hear me, can you? Doesn't matter.
Absolutely. I can't hear a word you're saying.
But there's no echo anymore, which is brilliant. Thanks for letting us know, Chris. I've worked it out.
But when
now.
you've had the Kundalini experience, I'm so sorry, David.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Okay. When you had the Kundalini experience, it was like the best non-sexual orgasm you've ever had, right? Yeah.
It was.
It's just joy and bliss. And once you've had that, you've touched 5D.
Created.
You've been in 5D.
It was. Hold on a minute. It was sexually created.
The Tantra. Yeah.
It was.
And the seminal fluid. Yeah. And the creativity. And bringing forth life into other frequencies and dimensions. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
This is the
It's
first interview I've
quite
done
challenging because it's a bit like a monologue for me. And I was really hoping you'd be talking to me more.
I love it.
But are there any other things that
Anyone got any questions?
that you may like me to touch upon before we
Really, really good. Anyone got any questions at all to ask
45 minutes in?
or doors, or I'm going to ask her about Deja Vue. Tell me about Deja Vue.
Deja Vue. Deja Vue. I've been here before. I've seen this before. Basically, my perception of Deja Vue would be that there have been timelines that have been a bit like the Mandala effect, that have been overlaying. So it maybe you think, I've been here before, but actually you haven't. But you have, in a parallel universe, dimension, frequency. Does that make sense? So you have actually experienced something, but with slightly, a bit like me going to the cinema and the restaurant with my husband. Does that make sense? So in some frequencies, certain things will exist, and in other frequencies, they won't exist. It depends what your vibration is as to what your perception is of everything. So therefore, you can manifest anything that you want to just by choosing where you put your focus. Okay, I'll take my headphones off. Are we giving it a go?
Oh, bugger. That hasn't worked, I don't think. You're frozen now, Sarah.
No, I'm not. I'm fine.
No, you're good. You haven't frozen.
Good. I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, David, you're an absolute magician.
Well, they call me Dangerous Dave.
Oh, that's brilliant. You know what? Where there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely. I'm so pleased because there were so many times when I wanted to interject with stuff. But talking about the Kundalini, I experienced it years ago, and it was like a rush of energy through my body. Yeah, and I still have them. Frequently now. I've had them for 20 years. And I get this like rush of energy, and it ricochets in my shoulder across there, goes do, 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 do. And then it slowly moves down my body, and it's like the most beautiful feeling. I can't describe it. It's not in physical terms because it's beyond the physicalness of things. Yeah, I believe, and yeah, it's incredible. But I discovered during sensual moments, yeah, that I was able to touch people like on elbow, and they'd have orgasm.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it. It was like, what the hell is going on here? I know this sounds a bit mad, but is that related in any way? Because I've always tried to sort of understand why.
I'm not sure about elbows.
But it's the energy that's transferred, you know.
For me, that would make perfect sense because you are both vibrating at the same frequency, and of joy and bliss, and divine connection.
Right. Okay. Well, like these people have said this has never happened to them before. So would I be like the carrier of that energy and they will experience it if they've if because it's happened with other people as well, but they've never experienced it before. Do you see what I mean? So it seems to be that I seem to initiate it somehow and they connect with that connection, that vibration.
Well, I think with everything, we can influence the world around us, can't we?
Hmm.
Because actually, there is nothing around us but us. So
Hmm.
if you are a vibration or a
Hmm.
harmonic or a chord,
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm actually just an actor in your movie,
I
and
love
you're
that. I always
in.
say,
So I only invite into my movie what I want to experience,
exactly that. Exactly
and
that.
and you invite into your movie
Yeah.
the actress or the non-player character, or
Yeah.
the situation. I mean, Dolores Cannon says that until the people in her audience and her actually get to a building, the building doesn't exist,
Exactly. Yeah.
because
Exactly.
it's with the group intention that
Hmm.
creates a physical vibrating structure. Look at Men Who Stare at Goats as well. Have you ever seen that movie, Men Who Stare at Goats?
No.
It's very funny. It's a funny film, and it's where it all starts off. It's all about remote viewing, and it's
Hmm.
based on a true story about the military in America. And George Clooney is trying to raise his vibration enough to be able to pass through the heavier vibration of the wall. So he keeps running up at the office wall and flinging himself against it, trying to change his vibration so that he can get through the wall.
Hmm.
If you get me. So that's sort of a vibrational match. So
Hmm.
as we vibrate, we manifest.
Hmm.
And wherever we focus, we can manifest. So that means that we have a huge responsibility about what we're thinking at every now moment. So if we're thinking positively,
Hmm.
then we can manifest positive stuff, which is what you were doing when you just made some change here.
Hmm.
Uh, and we were thinking positively and thought, no, we want to change this so it actually works.
Yes.
And
It, it, and we manifested something. It's
we
interesting. It reminds me of the double split experiment, because I'm very interested in the small world. Yeah. So the electrons only created matter, if you like, when they were observed, and even the electrons knew when they were like hiding but still looking. Do you know what I mean? So the idea is that we have to observe to manifest. But I always thought if there was no human beings on the planet, then it might still exist because the animals would be observing it, and the insects and all
That's a tricky one, isn't it?
that. Mm.
Because you're not the observer. So they say, if you weren't in the forest, would the tree, when it fell, make a noise?
Hmm.
Or would that only be because you were the receiver listening to that noise? If you weren't here, would anything be here? Because we're all a spark of light,
Yeah.
and we all come from source. And everything is a manifestation of your world to enable you to collect the information that you want to go back to source, so that you or I can go back with a unique experience of coming from the light
Hmm.
down through the heaviness back to
Hmm.
the light again. And we're about here at the moment. So we've come through the heavy darkness and we're coming back up to the light.
Right.
So all we're here to do as a God spark is to
Hmm.
have an experience, a unique experience. So we're all the same, but
Do,
we're all slightly unique, like
do you think
fingerprints.
do you think it's about being in the moment? Is that the key here? Because like when you're in the moment, you're not in the past, you're not in the future, are you? You're in the moment. It's like I understand what it all means on a very deep level, but sometimes I can't express what I know in that respect, if you see what I mean. It's a bit of a strange one. But when you're in the moment, I mean, you can be in the moment, I guess, if you were negative as well. Do you know what I mean?
You can, and you could experience all sorts of negativity. So, perhaps I created this tonight because I was a bit concerned about technology. So I've probably created the difficulty with technology tonight.
You really didn't, because it was all on my side of things. I went into my audio settings and put echo cancellation, and I did something else, and now it's perfect. So it was my ignorance of not being more thorough in my things.
Kind of you just take that responsibility as my part by perhaps being a little nervous.
I love it, Sarah. I love it. So
it is a great joy, but does everyone does that make sense to you, with the difference between portals, dimensions, deja vu, frequencies, harmonics, and the fact that when we're all in a different frequency, we're all going to be experiencing just joy and bliss, because we will have cleared out the density of fear within our bodies, and also anything that we fear, so anything which is not good, that we don't want in our lives, like traffic or a full car park, or nasty things happening to people. If we don't visualize it or have it as part of our timeline, then it isn't a part of our timeline. But if we have a sneaking fear, then we can manifest that sneaking fear. And if the globe, if with the monkey, the 100 monkey effect, if I'm vibrating at a certain frequency and I smile at someone, then that person will vibrate at a different frequency from if I frowned at them. And that brings joy. Yes. So the 100 monkey effect, where one monkey was washing its fruit and then another one saw it on a tropical island somewhere, that old story, and then they weren't connected at all to other islands where other monkeys lived. But all the monkeys on one island were fruit, and then some other island miles and miles away, without having any
tools or something. They were using tools on one of them or something. The monkey started doing something, and they started doing it all over the world. It might not have been monkeys, I can't remember, but like that's the Mandela effect, yeah.
That's like the 100th monkey syndrome, not the Mandela effect.
So the Mandela's effect, where like when everyone thought Mandela died in prison and then he was released.
Timelines. Yeah. Timelines.
So going back to that, because obviously I was like, it was a bit tricky for me to concentrate completely. Is that a shift in is someone shifting the timeline? So we've got glitches. So that actually did happen, but now it's changed. Ability?
Well, timelines are shifting constantly, but again, because that's a lot, in my view anyway. Isn't that a lot to do with what you're creating, and where you're focusing your attention, because they're all running parallel. So if you hop from one timeline to another, like in one timeline I've got some oil in my fridge, and another timeline I haven't, and then I move into a different timeline, and then I've got 2 pots of oil in the fridge. It's just like it was always there, now it's not, and then it was again.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking more that someone's messing about with time itself somewhere and creating little glitches, and we don't know anything about it.
Well, time is a full.
I mean, you think about it. The all powerful, or they think they're all powerful, that are giving us large in their own little way. If they had that ability, can you imagine it? Oh my God.
Well, if they're not on my timeline, they don't affect me.
Exactly what I was going to say, actually. And this is what Bashar was saying. This guy was going, oh, well, I'm this and I'm that, and woe is me. And he said, change your timeline, boy. Like all you've got to do is change the way you change your choices or whatever. I can't remember. But
it's instant. It's instant.
Like that.
years gone by. So a few years ago, and this is quite a mind-blowing thing. If you can now hear me properly, it's much easier to talk like this. Thank you. I used to live up in Surrey near Windsor, and in a place called Egham. Now, someone I knew lived in Slough, and they used to go to work just off the M40, going up towards Oxford, and there is a military zone up there. And it's sort of marked off, like, off the A40. It says, authorized vehicles only, military personnel, all of that. So there was a chap that worked there, and his wife in Slough used to pack him up with a packed lunch every day, and off he would trot and go up into this military zone. He wasn't military, but he was working there, and he went into a normal looking porter cabin. And there was a lift in there with a particular key, and he had his own ID tag around his neck. And he would go into the lift, and then when the lift doors opened, he would be on Mars.
Wow!
Now he would spend what he would consider to be, this is like Interstellar, the movie Interstellar. He would do his stint of maybe a month on Mars. He said that there were 1,000 humans, but 18,000 beings there working. And then he would come back after his, let's say, I don't know, his stint there, which would seem like 2 months or a month or whatever it was. It doesn't really matter. He would then get back into the lift, get back into just up the road from the A40 in Slough, go home, and his wife just thought he'd been out for 8-hour day. But he'd been 2 months. And if you look at Interstellar, he went away for 45 minutes in the movie Interstellar, but he came back 23 years later when his daughter had grown up.
Yeah.
So timelines are a perception. That's all.
I was talking when you were trying to, well, even though it was down to me, you were trying to sort out your sound and all that. I was talking about Deja Vue because I had this idea, well, actually it isn't mine. I got it from somebody, and the idea was that when I experienced that feeling of when I've already done something, or I'm watching it unfold in real time, and I'm like, oh my god, I know what's going to happen next. This idea was, and you've probably heard of this, is that Sarah Williams has been born can you hear me? Sarah Williams has been born Sarah Williams for the last 1,000 years. And there's no real history as we know it today. So you've been born into the same body each time, and because of that, when you experience the deja vu, you've already lived this life, the same life, several times, so you can get that experience. That's another sort of concept, that theory or whatever. But I quite liked it because it made quite a bit of sense. The fact that I've been born, Dave, like countless times. And in my lifetime, I've experienced the moment that I've connected with the past lifetime. Anyway, I thought I'd throw that in.
Absolutely, yeah. I've lost you. Someone tried to call me, and I've lost the visual now, and I can't get it back.
Really?
I can't even see you.
Don't worry, as long as you can hear me.
I can hear you. I just can't see you, and I can't see me. But that's okay.
Julie Fletcher just said you really asked that. I don't know. What did I ask, Jules? Got no idea, darling. And thanks for watching, by the way. Has anyone got any more questions for Sarah? Because this is such a fascinating subject, I tell you. Oh, I've got to say as well, because on Sarah's website, you've got loads of courses on there, haven't you? And yeah, you've got courses on. You've got stargates and portals. You've got dimensional shift. You've got living in the 5D and beyond, and manifest your bliss. So, like, people that are watching who haven't already checked this out, and this really interests you, then got to get on it. Tell us about some of them courses, if that's okay, Sarah.
Absolutely. I'm doing this blind now because I can't see anything. Okay. But that's okay. So I'm just but the courses that I've been running for the last 20 years, because I've been doing this, I was awake when I was born, and the I've been doing these courses and upgrading them each year. But we start off with Raise Your Vibrations 1 and 2, and then we go into a third one, and they're based loosely around the chakras, because I work with 22 chakra system now. And they're based, these first courses are about unblocking the blockages within the chakra system so that you can access your kundalini and you can actually access your higher frequencies. And then we go into 5D and beyond. So we're stepping into manifesting our bliss and tuning into that is beyond fear. And once you've cleared all of the toxicity within your body, then you can step beyond fear into joy and have, infinite amounts of time and space. And, you don't have to do a 3D job, where you're frightened for the loss of your home, or you're, having enough food or any of those things. But you've literally got loads of time to create and manifest, and be in joy. And actually do what you feel like doing, whatever it is that you love to do, you can do, because you've got the time to do it and you don't have to think about money.
So I like to think I'm in the 5D. Okay, Sarah, do you know what I mean? Because to me, all of this is a big, elaborate illusion, a beautiful illusion. I go outside sometimes and I think, fuck, this is incredible. All this solidness is so beautiful, especially nature. It's like, wow, this is incredible. I'm like a little child sometimes. Do you know what I mean? And I've lost all sense of fear about like what's going on in the world. I do my, it doesn't seem to affect me as much, because I've lost quite a lot of fear and dread, and now I have absolute faith that everything's going to be good. Do you know, like for me personally, it's almost like a curtain has opened, or a rose is blooming. Hey,
yeah. I mean, whatever you think, you manifest. Exactly. So if you're, I mean, you're very, you always strike me as real elemental. Loads of fun, lots of joy, playing. And, you create beauty. Wherever you are, everything is just easy, all of those things. And if you visualize all of that, then you're right. That's exactly what you get. And if you visualize something that's heavy, like, which side of the, it's like, which side of the bus are you looking? Are you looking at the black side, or are you looking at the bright side with a great view, and it's just your choice. Or which bit of the park are you looking at? You're looking at where the shoots are all coming up and they're new and fresh, or are you looking at all the dog poo and the empty cans of Coke and things? Which one are you focusing on? And because you focus on a high frequency, then that's what you're manifesting.
So what can we do? I mean, obviously, being a therapist, I get a lot of people coming to see me, and they're suffering with depression and like a lot of anxiety. They've got thoughts in their head that they just can't shake off. Yeah, and I help them get rid of that and put them in a better position to to go forward in the best way they possibly can. But like, there are people like that, and they've got no. It's almost as though they haven't. It's not that they haven't got a concept that things are possible, but they just can't seem to be able to reach it. So what can people like that do to get themselves into the realms of the 5D? I mean, do they meditate more? Do they, what sort of things can we offer them in the form of advice?
As a therapist as well for the last 30 years, I, like you, I think each person is unique. So I don't think one size fits all. I think a different, it's got a different journey to walk. So just by, doing, I couldn't say that one thing is going to help everybody, but meditation is key. Getting into nature is a key. Having, good food, a good lifestyle, because we're so full of toxins at the moment. that it's really dumbing us down and you know, stopping us from accessing our fifth dimensional self. And we have to clear all of that before we can vibrate in 5D, and enable and to help those people who are maybe feeling the heavier frequencies to raise their frequency so that they can access the 5D of bliss and joy. Now, each journey is going to be unique and special, and we need to maybe so for me to say that, you know, just by some people can't meditate because their pineal is so calcified. So that we need to do some calcification, you know, in my view at the moment, because of the toxicity which is around. Then we need to do some good cleanses, you know, some good detoxification of the physical vehicle, so that we can get rid of the heavy denseness. And it could be that one being, one David, one Sarah, whatever, has decided to come in with a particular journey, which means that I've got challenges in certain areas of my physical experience here, in this journey that I'm going through, and you've got different physical experiences. It's going to take a different recipe for me to clear my physical stuff than it is for you to clear your physical stuff. But what we could do to help others is to help hold the light for them, and help them by giving suggestions to them that they may like, if they choose to, pick up on and integrate into their experience, so that then they can shake off the heaviness of the heavy emotions like fear, you know, grief.
Sorry for interjecting again, sir. I'm Gemini, can't help it.
Great to hear you.
What about what's your thoughts on soul contracts, right? So before we come here, some say, like Jeremy Clarkson, some say that that, like, some people maybe choose to be miserable sods and have like crappiest lives you can ever imagine. And so in that respect, like, how does that work with the going into the 5D? Because if they've chosen that experience, then are they not going to evolve into the 5D until a point in their timelines that they're able to? Is that, do you think, how it works? Or
I would agree with that fully. I think we've all got a soul contract. We've all got a soul journey. It's a personal thing. We chose which mother we incarnate through. We have a soul contract with her to create the right DNA with the right father. And then we've got a contract about whether or not we get abandoned at birth, whether we have perfect, you know, easy lifetime or not. But we get sort of, I don't know, maybe do we get brownie points for taking on a tough journey and learning lots of lessons at the same time? You know, do you get more badges on your arm? You know, if you do a lot, does it mean you take a bigger step forward? I don't know. But I know that certain people may be predisposed because of heaviness within them, in their back, the way that they view things. I mean, you might look at something and see it as a challenge, and others may see it as being very easy. But others may see, you know, have a totally different concept. So I think it's about not having any judgment around what that soul is choosing to experience, maybe.
You see, like, if say I had a soul contract to be a miserable git, yeah, and like to have a right shitty life, but I came across the concept of the illusion, and then all of a sudden I realized, well, actually, none of this is real as such. It's only one part of the truth, or several parts of the truth, or whatever. Yeah, I wonder if that would that change that contract that I initially made. I wonder if you can change your contract. Maybe you can. You must. You've got free will, haven't you? Apparently.
Yeah. Apparently so. And maybe it's part of the soul contract to be a miserable git for the first bit, and then your soul contract is, now I'm going to have this awful experience, which I can now go into surrender, and the other thing is about surrendering and being grateful, isn't it? Those two.
I love that, actually, because the idea of the illusion for me, right? So, like, everyone's in, like you said before, everyone's in their little game of life. That's the way I see it, which is very similar to what you said. So when someone upsets me, I'm like, oh, it's okay. They're in their little game of life. And from that comes forgiveness, acceptance. It comes everything. Do you see what
It
I mean?
does.
Yeah.
It does. But also being grateful for things that have been done to you. You think it's to you, but it's actually for you, because it's
Exactly.
triggering the fact that you might have, well, yeah. I mean, it's like, if someone does something to you, and also it's a reflection. So if you feel that someone is judgmental, then maybe it's because there's an element of you that you need to look at that is perhaps that you're not happy about. Maybe, I can be judgmental if I'm noticing someone else being judgmental and I'm irritated by that. That if it irritates me, then maybe it's a trigger to help me to evolve.
Yeah. Well, that like in truth, there is no such thing as those things. Do you know what I mean? In truth, on the 5D, it doesn't exist, does it? I assume. That's what I'm thinking. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. I
would agree with that. Yeah.
Something else as well. It gets very frustrating though when you know these things, right? And yet it seems that a part of you hasn't quite caught up with it. Yeah. So I remember I had an epiphany like 30 years ago, and I realized, oh my God, this is not what it seems. Yeah. But it took my body or my brain or my mind or Dave so many years to catch up with that. And it was so frustrating because I knew within myself that this was all like, I don't want to say bullshit, but do you know what I mean? And it's not bullshit. And I'm a firm believer actually that I did San Pedro in Peru, the cactus with the shamans, and it told me, because I asked it, okay, am I on the right track here? And nature just spoke to me and it said, Dave, it's all a beautiful dance. And I was like, oh my God, that's what I've always believed. So although these awful things are going on, so many people have grown so much from these awful things. It's about seeing the opportunities and the light, isn't it? Like I believe everything is beautiful, like this beautiful dance. It's just being able to be aware and notice, and I guess that depends on where you are in your evolutionary point in time, maybe. That makes any sense.
Totally, yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? And about the soul's journey again, it comes back to your personal choice and free will. Whatever we've chosen to experience is what we experience, and also the 7-year cycles that we go through. Development of each chakra, each 7 years. We're the cycles that we go through develop a certain phase of our life, and then we have. The first 8 years of your life, you're working on your base chakra. So that's your root experience, your base experience of how you experience the world. And then everything else is based on that. And then we revisit that from 50 to 58, where we start to decide, but there is a 7-year cycle that we go through each, and then that goes.
We change our whole body, don't we? I think I don't know how many years it is, but literally everything is completely new.
Yeah,
which is like amazing. Yeah. I was going to ask you, so have you ever been like really frustrated with your inner knowledge, and like Sarah, if you know what I mean?
So much. Oh
honestly. My God, it's great that it's great because all
the time. I was frustrated with not being able to get online just now properly and have a chat. Now, isn't it? Every second, I'm always frustrated because I'm such a perfectionist and I just want it all to flow beautifully. And of course, that isn't reality sometimes because I'm creating things that are not perfect so that I can be irritated. Go ahead.
What do you think about, because like when I'm working with clients, I work with a thing called the Swan Protocol, right? It's where I get the unconscious mind to take full. Have you heard of this? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Swan
Protocol. Yeah. You glide along, looking all smooth and graceful, and your legs are going like this underneath.
Oh well, no. This is a technique, Sarah. It's a technique. So I get the client and I get their unconscious mind, and no hypnosis, just like me and you talking now. I could even work with you now if you want to try it. Okay, so basically, I get your unconscious mind to take full control of your left or right arm, and you relax your hand like this. And I will say to your unconscious, okay, if you've now got full control of this, can you move like Sarah's hand, and it may do this without you doing it. Okay, and then we can ask it questions, and then I can ask it, are you able to take full control of Sarah's cardiovascular systems, her teeth, her mouth, and her tongue? And can you talk to me through Sarah? And that's a possibility, and it often has done with other people. So there's a part within them, right? This, whatever we want to call it, the unconscious, the subconscious.
Yeah.
That pretty much seems to run the show, because all the information comes in through our personality, our experiences, and then it gets jumbled up, and we react in a particular way depending on whatever's gone on in our lives, possibly. So what do you think about those parts within us? Because to me, in my experience, it seems that these parts seem real, and I actually have conversations with them. They've always got the person's best interests at heart. And often when they talk to the person, it's not a part of their psychological makeup, because I ask, it's often like a spirit who's with them, helping them. It's really fascinating. But like that part as well, like the unconscious and the subconscious, like what do you think about that in the whole scope of everything we've been talking about tonight? What role does that play in it all, do you think, if there is such a thing, which it seems to be?
Well, there does, doesn't there? That's a really interesting concept, because you can tell the cells in your body to switch on and switch off, can't you? So if you don't want to experience pain, you can tell the receptors to switch off.
I asked this lady's, I call it the swan. I asked their hand, if you like. She had chronic pain for 10 years. And I said to her, look, is it a possibility today that it's within your realm to take this pain away for it? And it went, yes. Gave me a yes and a no. And it went, yes. And I was like, oh, really? Fantastic. And I asked it to do whatever it needed to do that. And I got a phone call off her a week later. She was in Australia, and it was just full of expletives. Fucking hell, you can't fucking believe it. It's like fucking incredible, And so something within her that I communicated with, like, just reduced all that pain. It's almost as though it doesn't realize it has to do that. Otherwise it would do it.
It's almost like you gave permission. So by you working with her energy, she gave, because of your suggestion, she gave herself, her subconscious gave herself permission to let go of the block that was holding on to that experience. And therefore she healed herself because of the suggestion that she had heard you say. Because she may not have even, people have a choice about what they hear, don't they? They might not hear you say, selective hearing, they might not hear you say something. Or they might hear you say something, they might take it in a different context. But obviously at that then moment, she was ready to have the trigger, invited you into her awareness, and you triggered her into the release of a blockage that she'd had, therefore enabling her to make the free will choice to heal, because the body heals the body.
It is an interesting one for you, Sarah. I had another client who was a psychic, and her spirit was called Klaus, right? And he was a lead singer in a German band in the 80s who died, and she knew him then. And this Klaus became connected with her and would talk to her, So it was really weird. So I would put her into a state of hypnosis, classical hypnosis, eyes fluttering, eyeballs up, and she was proper under. And I brought Klaus out, right? And Klaus is talking to me, the spirit, and he's going, I've had a really bad life, and I need you to do therapy on me. So I was doing therapy, real or imagined, on a spirit. It was really mad. It was crazy. And afterwards, she said, like, after I'd done everything I'd done with her spirit, that he was good. And she said to me, Dave, this is the thing. There's lots of spirits that help psychics that are messed up and need help, like psychologically, because they take over into the other realms, their personalities and everything.
That's really interesting, David.
Really good.
Really interesting, because you get sort of souls that are not prepared quite to leave. I mean, we do some work down at Kingly Vale sometimes, and there's a big story about there was a big battle at Kingly Vale with all these ancient yew trees. The ancient yew trees were the warriors apparently in a big battle going back years on, and they all and they were turned by some sorceress into yew trees, and then some friends of mine and I were about 8 of us, and we went down to Kingly Vale, and we felt there was a lot of sadness around one tree. So we all stood around it and held hands, and it was so big and so old, 2,000 years old, that it took 7 of us holding hands outstretched to stand around the actual trunk of the tree. But as we did a little sort of, ceremony or whatever it was we did, prayer, several of us saw the spirit of a chap wearing a kilt and looking pretty rough and ready leave happy from the tree because he'd been trapped there, and the reason he'd been trapped in the tree was a spell that had been placed on him at that point, and as we released the spell, then he was released, and he had been stuck there because of the spell, but also because he wasn't ready to go, because he had a fiance who was pregnant in that lifetime, and he wanted to see the son or the child or something along those lines. So there are all sorts of different things, and I think as therapists, do we not just act as facilitators to enable people to access whatever it is that they need, because we use our intuition and the toolkits that we brought together, and they're guided to us individuals. It doesn't matter that no judgment about the individual, but they're guided to the right person for them that vibrates in the same harmonic that is going to help them to shift the block that's stopping them from moving forward into back to the light, perhaps.
I wonder why it takes the next step. Like that, I believe, I like the saying, you'll never find something outside of yourself. You'll always find it within yourself, if you know what I mean. You know that saying. If you want to, all the answers are within. Yeah. Sometimes we need outside influences, like people like us and other therapists or whatever, healers. And it's that external influence that can make a difference. Is that your dog, by the way?
That is my dog barking. Yeah.
I thought it was Jack Russell downstairs.
No, not make this stuff up everywhere, every bit. Yeah, Sarah's used to that with me interjecting. Dee says, Dee, bless you.
I tell you what, we've been going on for ages here. We're on 9:30, Sarah.
What? I can't believe you're still listening to us.
It's like, full on. I love it though. I could talk to you.
I could sit and listen to your stories all night too, because we've both been doing this, haven't we?
We're gonna have to have a trilogy, where we start like great. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to tell you a story before we go, right? I knew this lady, if you don't mind. I knew this lady called Sally Morningstar. She isn't watching, but she used to be a partner of mine, right? She's a white witch. And I always realized she was quite a powerful woman, And at that time, my self-confidence wasn't fantastic. And I always used to think, why does she like me? Do you know what I mean? And obviously she saw something in my energy. But anyway, when I first met her, she was very woo, and I was new to this, Even the music she listened to was like proper weird, and I listened to that music now. She was like a little teacher for me. She was like holding my hand in this whole thing we're talking about, And one of the interesting things about her was when we first met, she would go, "Oh, look, Dave," very dramatic, a Scorpio, very anyway. Like a witch, maybe. But she'd go, "Look, Dave, this shooting star, that's for us." And I'd be like, fuck, I've never seen a shooting star before at that time, And everywhere we went, a lot of times we would see these shooting stars. And then somehow, because like our focus was off, we didn't see any. We spent 4 years together, and it was great. But then we organically, naturally went apart, And it was towards the end of the relationship. We were outside in the conservatory, but outside it was a summer's night. It was dark. All the stars were out. It was amazing. And she looked at me as we were going to part like within a few days, you know. She reminisced and she said, "Dave, shall I ask for a shooting star?" And I said, "Go on, Sally. Yeah," because I believe she was powerful. And she did all this like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then she went, whoosh. And as she did that, the biggest, brightest shooting star in my life shot through the sky. And that is like one in a lifetime, Sarah, like you in the restaurant. You know, these things don't appear to come along very often. But just the timing was just incredible. And I haven't seen a shooting star since that day. And I've got a window in my bedroom. I can see up into the sky, and I'm always looking up there, like, come on, then. I haven't seen one, but it's just incredible. It was just incredible.
Well, I've got a friend who, Jane, and she invites in the star beings the whole time, and she's always videoing. She sent another video today of all the galactics moving around in the sky, and they're all just moving around. And then she says, "Okay, we'll do something then. If you really are a galactic and you're not an aeroplane or something else." And then they do a little loop to loop, and then they carry on. And she videos it, and it's just like wherever you, I don't know, isn't it great that we're such manifestors? I find it so exciting.
You know, that gratitude thing you talk about. Do you know what? I remember like 5 years ago, I said, if I was to die tomorrow, I'd die with a smile on my face because some of the things I've experienced in life have just been, and I have to say it, fucking incredible. That a lot of people never will experience in their lives. Do you know what I mean? And like just fills you with that gratitude.
It does.
Like,
Isn't it?
Like in the restaurant. I mean, my God, do you know what I mean? Like fizzling out. Like that is just crazy. That's just madness. The fact that you experienced that's incredible.
I know. And then another time, so my husband put something on the kitchen table, and said, and he came back and he said he couldn't find it, and had I moved it, it wasn't there. We looked everywhere, all around the floor, everywhere, you know, backtracked, you know, looked in the fridge, looked in stupid places that it wouldn't ever be, couldn't find it. Next day, when I'd raise a vibration of the house again, went there and it was in exactly the same place on the kitchen table that he said he put it. I said, "Are you winding me up?" And he said, "No, are you winding me up?" You know, the thing is, when you're by yourself, you think you're going nuts. And many people will be thinking that. But when you're with someone else or other, you know, a group like you were with Sally, looking at the shooting star, you both share the same experience, and then you know you're not going nuts.
Absolutely crazy. And you know, it's interesting actually, Sarah, because personally, my own personal journey is getting quite exciting. I'm like so excited about my journey. I don't feel old in any way. I feel like young as you like. Do you know what I mean? In my soul, if you like, and like so much is yet to be done, whatever it is. And lost my train of thought. But like, oh, that was it. I'm aware of manifesting. Yeah, I really am aware of it, and I'm a great believer in it. But I haven't done enough of it, and there's a reason for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm getting through that now. Whatever it is, I can feel it. Yeah. So I'm going to start this now. I'm going to, like, sometimes I lie in my bed and I feel. I know this sounds crazy, that all the forces that were at work, right? That's appear, and it's all appearances, right? All everything we see is appearances that appear to be downtrodden us, yeah, as a group of beings on the planet. Sometimes I'm lying in my bed and I feel like I can connect with every one of those, and I'm sending them, like, I'm saying, like, this isn't on. Do you know what I mean? It feels really weird, like I am actually got that power to do that. But another part of me is like, no, you're having a laugh, babe. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, I'm going to start utilizing these systems of connecting more into the 5D because I understand it. Do you know what I mean? And it's a journey I'm about to go into, definitely. Yeah.
Sounds like you're doing it. I mean, I know. I watched the video that the videos that you were doing when you were out in, was it Turkey, having your dental treatment.
Oh yeah.
And my God, you wanted to smile, and you've got the most fantastic smile, and you did all of it, and you inspired us all along the way. You know,
I talked about this the other day. I said, you know what? I was saying to my daughter, I was saying, you know what? I had my teeth done. I had no teeth for 4 months, and I didn't really care. It didn't really matter. I was still doing my podcasts. You know what I mean? I mean, I might say occasionally, oh, but like a lot of people I know wouldn't dream of not having any teeth for 4 months because of the way they would look and everything. But it just seemed to not like, I don't know. Yeah, I find it a bit weird.
I think that the best thing that we can do is just to keep going within our hearts and just sharing love. And if we can go through the portal of our heart and feel love, and just everything that we experience is love, therefore we're attracting loving things, we're creating loving things, we're amazing creator beings. And the more of us that are doing it, then the bigger the frequency, and then the 100th monkey effect will take place, and we'll have this amazing frequency of love and joy and bliss and gratitude, and all living in amazing communities of just love, light, joy, too much time, loads of abundance, not needing to worry about anything. But we've got to go through the sludge first. We're clearing that out, and that means the toxicity of our bodies, the heaviness of the body, etc., etc. And we are the unique portals of an experience which has never ever been done before. So you and I are just and everyone else who's watching, we're all quantum cosmic adventurers. Isn't that fun?
It's amazing. Whenever I often talk about these things, I always say, not just us, everybody. Everyone is this. It's like,
yeah. And if we can all stand together, David, like we are, as like a little lighthouse, of admitting that obviously, nothing, we had to go through our own stuff, and we continue to do that. But in the now moment, we're having a really joyous experience, and we've managed to pull together, a show or or a chat. Whereas there were all sorts of hurdles and things, and we could have given up, but you didn't, and I pushed. We didn't, and we got there, and over. We are having a great chat. And it's wonderful, and we've gone on for probably way too long.
Oh, look at this! The lovely Jules, look, still here. Both are fabulous. Thank you, Jules.
Oh, thank you, Julie.
So you'll probably meet Jules one day. So she does the circus. She's such a lovely lady. She's just got so much light emanating from her. And Dee says the world needs so much love.
We do. Oh, gee, Dee, Dee, you're you're one of my lovely friends, and you shine out love to everyone as well, Dee. Well done for all that you do, my darling, as well. Thank you for being here.
And you know what? If only I could meet all these beautiful people. It's like I must go to I still haven't been to one. I was supposed to go to. Yes, because there's so many people. Frustrating. Not anymore though.
It is. It's really good because you are actually meeting up with like-minded people, and I think this has been the biggest gift, out of this whole of the last 4 years, is we all come together and we all, as a community of light and manifestation, and wherever we focus, we create, and that's exactly what's happening. Clean food, clean water, support, love, joy, everything. It's just all here, and it's growing, and all those communities are starting to overlap and join together, and we're creating a whole new matrix around the planet of a high vibration. So as a frequency, we're now tuned to a higher frequency of light and love, whereas before being attuned to a lower frequency, we're now vibrating as vibrational beings into a higher frequency where we can access this higher frequency and just live it. and therefore the lower frequencies won't exist anymore unless we choose to dive into it, and then step back out and go back into joy again.
I know we've got to wrap up soon, but I've enjoyed it so much. Quickly talking about belief systems again, yeah. Now I've got a microwave, Sarah, and I love my microwave, right?
Do you?
Because I truly believe it doesn't affect me. I can put anything in that microwave and it'll have no effect upon any of my systems in my body. I truly believe that. So that's why I use it. But
Yeah.
I don't drink tap water because my belief is that it's really shitty and it's no good. So I've got my BioSera filter jug that does alkaline water. Yeah. And again, if I was to drink the tap water, it will probably affect me because that's my belief system. But the microwave can't touch me.
That's so good, isn't it? Again, it's your belief system. I mean, I pray over my food and I pray over my water, and that changes them. And, and you look at Masura Emoto and
Vida Austin. You must check Vida Austin out.
She's amazing. I love that with the whole broken fingernail thing, and the way that it reflects, and it's a consciousness, and it's a living one with a sense of humor. All of it. We're all one. We're just different different vibrations, and of course, as you so rightly say, we're mainly water, and we've got the 4 states of water of steam and liquid.
We're all in this beautiful dance, but we're all dancing slightly differently.
Yeah. Going to the case, we're all walking each other home, aren't we?
Oh, sir, we better get going. Because I'm not sure if people watch the recording, they see it's like 2 hours long, and I put them off.
Anyone's still here. I just think you're just amazing, all of you. Thank you so much for pursuing, for persevering with the ridiculousness at the beginning there that we, but I'm so grateful, David, for you to provide this for us today.
Like you're one of those amazing beings that is spreading the joy and information and all the stuff that we need to move forward in the best way possible. You be the best versions of ourselves.
Yes. Let's keep doing it. You're doing brilliantly.
It can be exciting if you want it to be exciting. That's what I believe.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do that, aren't we, David? We're going to just live in excitement and fun and joy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if any shit comes, well, it's only perceived. We'll just bat it off. And I noticed when you get onto these sort of vibrations, stuff that used to hang around for a while now just goes very quickly, and it's so much easier.
Well, some people don't even hear it. I mean, it's like that whole concept, isn't it? And I'll just finish with this if you like. But like a toilet roll tube, those tubes. So the tube would be, so if you think of a cylinder, a round cylinder, if you were to look at that from one viewpoint, it looks like it's a circle. But then if you look at it from a different viewpoint, it's so if there was a light shining there onto a screen here, then that would be shining more of an oblong light. Let's say it's a bit, but actually it's a circle and an oblong, but you can see a circle and an oblong depending on which viewpoint. So wherever you're viewing an object from, it's going to change depending on which angle you're looking at it from. So it's the same thing, but it's a different angle. And so if we're looking from a different angle of joy and bliss and love and gratitude, and gratitude being the most important thing, then everything is going to be just amazing, like the celestial. What woke you up, David?
What woke me up?
Yeah. When did you wake up?
Oh, I've always been very deep from a very young age. I always realized there was something. I was always different to most. I felt different to others from a young age, really. But I was seriously lacking confidence. I actually didn't go to school for 4 years. I just used to bunk off school and go into the fields and play with my mates. I wasn't interested in school or learning or anything like that. I basically educated myself at the right time for me. And I was a bit of a nightmare as well. I was in a lot of darkness. Used to like go on robberies, no police watching. I used to be involved in drugs. Yeah, I still am to some extent, but it's purely experimental, people. And I was a bit of a nightmare. But like it's brought me to this point now, and I wouldn't change anything for anything. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we can't all fit into most of us that are on this sort of journey that you and I have been talking about have always been a little bit being a bit outside the box and not fitting into their old boxes. So going along with the old stupid educational system didn't fit well for us. So we would step away and go back. Did you find yourself out in nature playing more?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got to be honest. I don't know if I suffered with some sort of condition when I was younger, but like the teacher would be teaching. I didn't even know what she was on about. I had no idea what she was saying. I just felt stupid. So I carried this stupid reflection for quite a long time until I started. It was just been a long journey, and I'm just so I just love who I am now. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to swap me for anybody else because I'm very comfortable in my body. I'm happy. I like to think I express like a sense of joyfulness, and that's my gift. Is like just be joyful and spreading that joy. Do you know what I mean?
Well, if you hadn't been through your journey, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing now, would you?
One doesn't know, but probably not. Yeah.
But this is
My
it.
journey wasn't particularly bad. I don't even view it as bad. I can't even remember it. It doesn't exist anymore because it's in the past and there's only the now. So it doesn't really matter. Do you know what I mean? So
It's just I wonder what it was, what the trigger was, because I think that can be helpful for some people to realise that there are certain triggers in the lifespan that can help.
I used to smoke marijuana, right? And marijuana for me used to make me think like I never thought before, and actually put me on different dimensions. So it was that was like I know it's scorned upon in circles and everything else, but responsibly used in like what's the word, ceremonial sense, it can be really useful, like a lot of natural plants, as you probably agree. Like
I do. I fully agree. Yeah, I've also participated in that, and also in the journey with medicines that can bring that that's that.
I've got one of these. Look, see that? That's the mushroom chocolate treat.
Yes, yeah. Someone gave me some the other day, actually. Yeah,
I've had this for 6 months, so I haven't had it yet. So it's like I'm saving it for a special occasion.
Yeah, someone gave me a couple of little bits of chocolate as well the other day, and just said, oh, this is that. But then, some of us have done, like you and I have also participated, and I did the Cambo, the frog thing, a few times, and that enabled me to do some purging. I wouldn't do it again, but only because I feel sorry for the frogs, but they don't get hurt when they get irritated, and I don't want to irritate anything because otherwise back on me, right? But but even the cactus would have needed, for you with your journey, it stimulates the drug within the brain, and we've got a bigger pharmacy in our brains, haven't we, than anything that's external. So all it does is stimulate the body to create whatever it is we need to create the experience that we need to bring about the experience that our soul has chosen. So
I had a weird experience on ayahuasca, because ayahuasca is supposed to present all your shit to you, so that you can, when I had it, right, there was a bit of a thing going on, because I've had this epiphany about the illusion. So like my deepest concept is that none of this exists really, it's a complete illusion, and because of that, all of my past and all my bullshit doesn't exist anymore. So when I was on ayahuasca, there was like this weird sort of I don't know what the word is, but it was really weird because it was presenting things to me, but it was like it didn't matter because it didn't exist anymore because it was illusionary. Do you see what I mean? It was a bit weird.
So did you have a big purging? Did it have a big purging effect on you?
No. It was like, because everything that's happening into my life is being the beautiful dance. There is no darkness. It doesn't exist. So although like it appeared, it wasn't. And I knew on the deepest of levels that it didn't exist. So there was nothing to purge, if you see what I mean.
Wow.
Weird.
What an evolved soul you are.
Oh, no, I don't think. Well, maybe not Dave, but there's something within us all. We're all evolved. Come on, Sarah, don't make me blush.
We are. We are, aren't we? Because we're revisiting this because we are all ascended already, and we've come back.
That could have been my belief that created that, because don't forget, the ayahuasca's affecting different connections in our brain or whatever, It's like me believing the microwave doesn't affect me. And I think if they connected me up to some machines, it would show that it doesn't connect me because I truly believe it. Do you see what I mean? So maybe it was my belief before I went to ayahuasca that, okay, I went with my cousin and my cousin did it and she got carted out on a drip because she was like really losing it. Yeah. Like big time. She was really struggling. And some people, when I told them this, they said, well, you fought it and you were in denial and all this. But it's like, okay, whatever. I don't mind.
Well, that might be their concept. But I mean, if you had a blissful state, then that surely is, that's your experience. And also, you didn't have that much crap to clear. So therefore you didn't have to.
I did have loads of shit, Sarah. I had loads of shit, but I turned my shit into illusion, into the illusion.
Wow.
If you see what I mean.
So incredible. And again, I suppose it's, mind over matter, isn't it? That whatever you think you create. So you were just it's just like, again, which side of the, which wolf are you feeding? Are you feeding the light wolf or the dark wolf? Are you seeing all the crap or are you seeing all the light? There is always going to be shadow around, but to accept it and not to be frightened of it, and to sort of to love it, because I always say to people, in a bottle or a cup, then there are two sides to a cup. There's the front bit with light on it, and there's a shadow bit at the back here. But without both sides, you can't contain the liquid, and we have to experience the entirety of everything, love the whole thing, and then it'll act in the way that we want it to. And shamanically, when we pick a plant or choose a plant, like, the ayahuasca plant or whatever, they say that, the right way to do it, I don't know if this is true because I haven't actually done ayahuasca yet, but they say that you're supposed to dream with the plant. You're supposed to sleep with the plant and understand what it's going to teach you. And I know that if I'm picking rosemary in the garden, I thank it for the qualities that it's going to give me as I pick it, and then I exchange DNA with Mother Earth. So a hair or a fingernail or something. And with that, it gives me the quality, so it doesn't have to raise my blood pressure. It can just make me more alert, but it could do either. Or marjoram could lower my blood, So you thank it for the quality, and then it gives you that vibration. Then you ingest it into the physical vehicle. On the cellular level, it'll upgrade the vehicle depending on what you've intended and been grateful for, and what and what exchange you've made. So everything is such a unique experience, and the more we learn, the more we can share with others, and the bits that are helpful for the others, they can take on board and then throw the rest away. Just like this conversation, if this all is just absolute, just like, crazy to them, then they won't even bother watching. But if they're, no one would have stayed this long. If
people watching, it's like incredible.
Watching us, I can't believe anyone would, apart from the fact that you're so interesting.
No, you are. Anyway, listen. I had the San Pedro, in
Oh,
Peru, which was like, which showed me the beautiful dance. Yeah, it said,
yeah.
David saw the beautiful dance, and I was like, oh, thank you, because that's what I believe. So it confirmed it for me. And then I remember in that moment being with the shaman and saying to the shaman, I never have to have this again. I never have to have anything else again, because now I know. And I had San Pedro again, right, with a friend, and we both had the same amount, and it hardly affected me at all. I didn't get anything like what I got before, and she got loads from it, yeah. And I was like, oh my god, I wonder if it was because like I remember saying I didn't have to have it again, and when I had it again, I didn't have anywhere near the same thing. It could have been that it was still in my system, so it was weaker. I don't know, but it just seemed a bit strange. Anyway, Sarah, we have to go, darling. All you lovely people that have been watching, look, thank you so much. Sarah's an amazing woman, very interesting. Check her website out and some of her courses. Get into the 5D. It's amazing. Well, I assume it is. I feel like I'm in it anyway. And for those that are watching, if you get a chance and you haven't already, maybe if you can find me on the YouTube channel, Freedom Mind UK, Chat with a Therapist, maybe you can give us a like and subscribe or wherever. But besides that, wow, what a great talk, Sarah. Really enjoyed it. I'd love to have you back on again. In fact, I'm gonna have to connect with you and meet up with you physically.
Yes, we're local, aren't we?
We are, yeah. Maybe if you're doing something, and I'll come along. I know you've. I am aware that I'm a bit of a bugger for that. So trying to get to things, something seems to come up or something happens, but I'm guessing if I have the right intention, then I'll be there. Yeah. So, but it'd be lovely to do like a little ceremony with you or something. And like,
yes.
You know.
Well, it's a Moonai key. I share the Moonai key rights, which I don't know if anybody else knows about. I'm sure a lot of people will. Dee, who's watching, she's shared her had her Moonai key rights with me, but so some ceremonial stuff would be lovely. I'd be honoured, if we just go and sort of. To be able to do this sort of work together, because I've worked also with many shaman, and I'm sure you and I could talk the hind leg off donkeys. It'd be really interesting.
I get excited. See, honestly, I get excited, and that's the thing.
Yeah. So we must get together and to do something. So I'm near Hedge End. I'm also transmitting quantum energies out now through the V4 version 4 quantum wellness unit, and that's able to be. We can do that remotely, and we've had magnificent results with animals and things. So if I'd love it if you would come along and try it, David, for free. Just have a go.
I'd love to try it. I really would. And I don't know if you're at the next event in War Rush, where it was called. You're talking there, right? You're doing the talk. I am as well, so we can meet up there.
Great. I'm on at 2:30. When are you on?
10:30.
Oh, you've got a good one. Can we swap?
I've got a stall there anyway, so.
Me too. Oh well, we'll see each other in War Slash.
Oh, there you go. That's when we're going to see each other, on the 2nd of March. But I'd love to try the V4 things you were talking about.
We won't get any work done. We'll just be chatting.
I love it. What's this? Someone said we've got to go though. Love Munakai. I can't even say it. Munakai. You may need to get the talking stick though. Yeah.
That'd be my D. My lovely friend D. Yeah, we can I need to stick out every time we talk, every time we have a group, because she's got so much lovely stuff to share.
Me and you both, D. Thank goodness for that. Well, look, Sarah, all I can say is thank you for tonight. It's been amazing. Absolutely loved every second of it. Brilliant. And we worked it all out. And thank you to everyone that's watching. We've only got one viewer now. But yeah. So
see you again. See you on the 2nd of March.
Absolutely. Okay. Right. Bye, everybody. For those that are still watching.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching on the replay. And if we wouldn't mind putting the websites down below, that would be fantastic, David. And thank you so much for being so patient with us. Thank you.
God. Banner, here we go. And I should have put that on for you. So anyone's watching it, they're going to see it. Damn. Okay, we are not live anymore.